You know, they're coming right now from the river, Grant. If you look over here, see where that Border Patrol car is? They're coming out from there. That is the Rio Grande. They're coming out. They're literally walking the Border Patrol to turn themselves in. And they're hoping that they'll get hotels or that they'll be released into the country, because we know that the policies of the Biden administration have been incentivizing illegal immigrants to take this treacherous journey.
All right, look, just stunning on its face that you could be there and this is happening right in front of you. It used to be you had to sneak in, and now literally they're coming. I don't even care if there's news cameras around. Logan, thank you, and I know you'll be updating us all week. We appreciate you, buddy. All right, to help continue this all-important conversation, I want to welcome in Republican Congressman Chip Roy of Texas and former acting Customs and Border Patrol Commissioner Mark Morgan. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thanks,
Good evening, Grant.
All right, Congressman, let me start with you. We got Logan Raddick standing there. They're coming across the river on live television. I have never seen anything like this before.
No, this is the direct result of an administration that has basically just put up a great big neon sign saying, come on in, despite the fact that it's a grave danger to the children and the families who are being exploited by cartels. I mean, just 2 days ago, I talked to the district attorney in Boerne, Texas, outside of San Antonio, a couple hundred miles from the border. And there was a carload of illegals, and one of them was trying to get to California to work in vineyards, paid $4,000, but they found out he was going to a stash house to be sent into human trafficking for slave labor. That's what's happening. Cartels who have operational control of our border. Mark knows that exceptionally well, obviously, from his service in Border Patrol. Today, I was down on the Rio Grande. I went down there and spent 3 hours just along the Rio Grande, looking at the paths, looking at where migrants are coming through. I saw a dozen or so coming up under the bridge into the so-called TOPS processing facility. And it's nothing more than a processing facility, right? It's not border protection. It's not securing our border. It's literally processing human beings to be released into our country, either unaccompanied children into these facilities throughout Texas and America, including 500 in Midland, including 2,000 in Dallas, several hundred on a military base in San Antonio. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the Biden administration pretends like this is somehow compassionate when it's the opposite of compassionate to fuel this cartel-driven profiting on the back of human beings.
Yeah, and when you talk about the cartels, the drugs, nothing good ever comes of that. Mark, you took the pictures we're just showing there, these nighttime photos of migrants, illegals coming across the border. Tell me about what you were witnessing and how this compares to what you were overseeing during the Trump administration.
Look, Grant, it's pretty simple. What we saw last night is almost the exact location Logan's at. What we saw is what the rest of the American people sees, and what this administration is trying to keep to tell us we're not seeing what we're seeing, is that we have a crisis on our southwest border. And look, I've been doing this for a while. I've seen illegal immigrants cross, but Grant, last night, this hit me very differently in the past, because in the past, we were always trying to fix it. Right? We were always trying to close the loopholes. We were always trying to shut down the sentence, and we were successful. Last March, with the numbers reduced to 33,000 in a single month. That's the lowest it had been in a very long time. But what I saw last night, it disturbed me greatly, because we could have prevented this. This was preventable. We have the tools and policies in place, Grant, that were effectively dealing with the illegal immigration and a crisis. And look, during the transition, even before, we told the Biden administration, if you do what you've done, you will create an unmitigated crisis that will pale in comparison of 2019. We're already there. During the transition, Grant, we warned them, exhaustive briefings. If you do what you said you're going to do, and they've done, the Border Patrol facilities will be overwhelmed. HSS will be overwhelmed, and you will see crisis-level numbers that will exceed what we saw in 2019. We told them it could have been prevented, and they let their ideologic hubris ignore the experts, and now we have this crisis.
Well, you know, it wasn't just all of you. I mean, we were screaming and yelling about it on this program and others, which leads me to believe, Congressman, do you think they just don't care? What is the ultimate goal here of Joe Biden and those on the left?
Well, I believe this is just crass, raw politics by my Democrat colleagues. There's no other excuse for what you would do to fellow human beings, because this is a very specific harm to the American people, the ranchers, the people along the southern border who are getting hurt by this, the immigrants that the Democrats claim they're trying to help. And look, this is all preventable. Mark just said it. Right now, they're allowing asylum laws to use this as an excuse to bring people here, when 90% of asylum claims are tossed when we actually adjudicate them. They're not using the migrant protection protocol, which President Trump rightfully negotiated with Mexico using the pressure of tariffs to do so. They're not using Title 42 for unaccompanied children or for certain family units. And they're, by definition now, starting to do catch and release without actually giving them any kind of notice to appear back in court. And this is all driving down the morale of Border Patrol. Meanwhile, they put Kamala Harris in charge of this thing, which means you're putting someone in charge of it who has compared ICE to the KKK, who has said ICE should be abolished, who has said we should have sanctuary cities. Look, it literally is a slap in the face to the entire American experiment. It's a slap in the face to immigrants. We are sending a signal around the world that Democrats care more about politics than human beings and protecting our sovereignty. That's what's happening on your southern border, Americans, and it's preventable if we just did the right things that the Trump administration was doing.
Yeah, and they were doing it. Mark has spelled it out on the program before, and I so appreciate the both of you coming on and helping explain some of the things that's going on, because we're not getting the straight scoop from the mainstream media. Thankfully, guys like you and gals like you are down on the border bringing us the stories. Gentlemen, thank you. We'll see you both again soon. So no end in sight for Biden's border crisis as migrants continue flooding our nation.